Good day, world. It's Minister Adams, and as you see in the title, I'm gonna take it there, but I'm gonna share it in a way that, as I always do, in a way that no one has shared it with you. Let me take these off. No one has shared it with you before. Um, couldn't even be sincere with that on. I just didn't want y'all to see me cry telling this one, cause these are true stories. And the reason I do it is because I believe God is gonna expose and God is gonna start exposing more of this type of behavior, more of the underground hurting of the children type things. And so if I can help two or three, and then those two or three help four or five, um, help people understand where people coming from when they dealing with this. Like I listen to Ali Carter testimony a lot. On another channel, I'm gonna recap her testimony. I'm gonna start a recapping channel when I get everything set up. But you can see her going through things to where you won't understand why she might pause or why she might break down at certain moments, or why she might even break down. And then she, when she speaks, I see it, I identify with it because I minister in that area. She'll break down, and then she'll say something very deep, and you won't even understand where to be sensitive at, or where to like be confused, or where to really discern where her emotions are coming from and how to interact back with them, because you don't understand that she only broke down at the beginning to prepare herself and to fight the triggers that was trying to arise by her saying what she was about to say. But I'm gonna take you deep to where she was trying to take you, and I'm gonna tell you why they do it. I'm gonna tell you what MK Ultra is, how they do it, why they do it. As discerning as I am, I was always discerning my whole life, and so when I came into the ministry, when I fully submitted to God, um, I fully submitted to God. I believe I was 32. I came to Him when I was 28. Went through my roller coasters. I was fully submitted with the church and everything, with the gifts. And at this time, I met a group of people on Facebook that were from, I believe they were from Britain, but I don't know where I don't know if some are from Australia. I think the main one was from the USA, from California. And I'm not definitely not gonna say any of their names. I said someone's name. I shouldn't have said it, because they used to look for us. I'll tell you that at the end of this. They used to look for the young girls, try to infiltrate our groups, like their fathers and their uncles are like royal guards, and they're hacking emails, and they're really trying to really find these girls that got away from them, or these young men that got away from them. I had one young man come through me, and then we ministered to them for years. I believe I did that from like 32 to about like maybe 42 for about 10 years. So what I'm gonna tell you is, as observant as I was coming from all the stories I tell you, I was very discerning. It was to the point in the beginning they was like the older women didn't I was the only young black man, and everyone else were young white women coming from Great Britain, coming from, none of them came from the U.S., man. We were saving them from those countries. We were only able to save them from those countries because we knew, because there's a connection. I'm not going to go into that, but if we can bring them here, then there's an avenue to get to them that someone else is also bringing them here. We're just using that channel, bringing them here to save them and not to traffic them out up here. But what I'm saying is, most of the time we take ours there, and then we traffic them under their laws and under their tolerance, because because they allow it. So maybe that's a better way to say how they knew how to get them. But man, it's something that MK Ultra does to you, and it does it to everyone that undergoes MK Ultra. Is it creates dissociative identity disorder, bro. I'm gonna explain to you why they use shock treatment and why they do all of. Now the shock treatment is only like another way of like speeding up. Like, other than that, they'll just leave you somewhere. If you somewhere just getting drugged while they mentally abusing you, and you just getting drugged out, you ain't gonna understand like why they. But if they take you somewhere like to prison, or if you they'll take like you, if you know, it's like a lot of rappers go to prison. They don't got the time to they don't got the time to put them niggas in the state to break their cognitive dissonance. They don't got the time to put the fear of God in them niggas. They got to put you in a state to where you can't react normally, to where you'll go into a hallucination, and you'll react, and you'll create a compartment that operates under that hallucination, to where they can create you to kill, They can create that compartment, but they'll put you in jail and just shock you to put you in that place, just shock you. But it also, but it's that's the natural part. But the spiritual part is the drugs puts the spirit in you. A certain amount, an over amount, the DMTs, the hard drugs will put you in that demonic place. The LSD, the shit they'll do to you without the shock, but the shock treatment can allow them spirits to, if they doing it with the same brutal force of breaking the cognitive dissonance. That's a very important thing. That's the only way they can do it, is to create a cognitive dissonance, and they do it by ripping you from God. That's why only people that do this are Satanists. Ain't no normal people doing nothing like that. But I'll get into that later. So man, let's explain. I feel like I want to explain what the cognitive dissonance is now. It's the devil's first trick, man, and they do it in the what they do is they pose as like the real evil of it, and I'll explain that to you, and it's gonna be brutal, bro. That's why I have my glasses on, but I can't communicate. I can't do this with them glasses on. But the real evil of it comes from a place of posing as God to a child, and making a child do something so vile that it breaks the cognitive dissonance, and I'll explain that. But there's another part of it that can do it just by presenting something to you. That's why people that look for stardom are such great candidates for the devil to do that to, because you're coming into an industry, or you're coming into a game with the high hopes, like you're coming in you're coming in here. You're coming in somewhere with an ideal that you're firm and believing in, and that ideal is God to you. If you go that far to do what puts you in that position, but then you clash with that ideal and realize it's demonic, and so that creates a cognitive dissonance that doesn't even allow you to break out right away. That you go into it before you realize where you are, because they compartmentalized you already. Just by meeting them and realizing, like, this isn't what I thought it was, will make you accept it, and you'll block it out for a little while before you realize it. And then that's what the cognitive dissonance, the ideal broken, the hope broken, the counterpart of what you expected. It breaks you if you hope that ideal is God. That's why I say people that seeking stardom and their parents, the people that want money so bad that it becomes the root of all evil to them, that they love it. And they'll put their children in a position to where they'll create an appetite in you, to hunger for it, thinking it's something good. Like, you're going to be a star. And you develop this as my God figure told me this, something that presented itself to me as a higher being to me, an adult that I trusted told me. Like, this is going to be good for you. You're going to be. Then I get there and they do something and they grope me, and I be like, oh. And I just don't. And now I'm just in such a place to I don't even know how to resist it. I can't even fathom what happened. And they'll do it. And you can wonder why they be so bold, because they gotta be. Because if they know, like, oh, they see that gleam in your eyes, they'll stare at you. I see that gleam in his eyes. Like, yeah, he's hypnotized by this shit. He think this is good, and they'll do something real bad to put you in that place. To put you in that place of no decision, to where they can, and if you stay, and then to where because they know you're gonna stay there from what got you there, the drugs, the pathway. But most niggas, man, when you see these young rappers get locked up and they send them to jail and come out with blonde hair, it's because they done shocked them right here. They'll create that pathway through an electrical current. God says the devil came down like lightning. Y'all know I'm not playing, right? But I haven't gotten to the brutalness of this yet. God says that's my tea, actually. God says the devil came down like lightning. It's cold. And so that means the devil travels through an electrical current, bro. The enemy. So just imagine you putting, man, that's the most heinous thing you can. Look how this world. So there was a war in heaven. The archangel and the devil. The archangel and his devil warred, and the devil was cast out of heaven, and there was no place for him anymore. And I saw the devil cast out of heaven as if it were lightning. That's how they travel, through a high speed, like electrical. We are electrical currents, high speed electric, like lightning. I ain't gonna compare them to God, but like lightning. So Ain't this so heinous, bro, that when a nigga go to fucking, excuse my language, that when a man goes to death row, the first thing they could think of is, if not hanging him and cursing him to mock the Christ, electrocute him and send him to the devil, on send him straight to the, you know what's going, you know the type of spiritual, unless they knew Christ when they said in that thing. You know what that, but anyway, man. Now that's going to the, cause now that's kind of like almost fantasy, fictitious a little. I'm about to say fantasism. I'm about to make up a word, but let's talk about this now. MK Ultra. So I'm foreshadowing what they do. Now, man, we used to talk to these young women, bro. Of course, I won't say any names. A few of them are still with me today. Three of them. One is older than me. She's about 60. That's the one that they made to I said in one video, like, they made her to have 12 children and sacrifice the children. Like, you can't say that and just leave it like that. So I'm not. Like, what you mean by that, man? So she was a type. It's called satanic ritual abuse, and that's what Ali is trying to. That's what the world isn't aware of, and that's the type of thing they'll force on you. Man, I got another video that I did that I didn't release, but man, it's terrible. But it's called satanic ritual abuse, and it's how they program them. It's how they use MK Ultra. It's how they create a Delta slave. It's how they create a beta. It's how they create a women's sex slave. It's how they, if they get to a child under this, they can make you do anything under a story. Somebody will call you and be like, yeah, remember this happened? You'll be like, oh. You'll go into someone else until they catch you or kill you and snap you out of it. And while you in it, ain't nobody saying nothing to you, so they do it over and over. But what they do, man, and I remember I said that this is gonna be deeper now. Remember I said that they come at you as a counter of something that you thought was good, like they'll introduce you to stardom. But it's satanic ritual, and the depths of satanic ritual abuse, and maybe you'll understand what you're going through on a lower level. Like there's been more than one woman that told us in this country. I'm gonna stop saying it was in Britain with the Royal Guard and the King's Palace. They was into this. So these girls' uncles worked for the Royal Guard and they fathers, so they couldn't stop. They couldn't get out of it. It's all they knew. It was hard to save them. But man, all right, man, this how they'll create a cognitive dissonance that create that everything after this is light. This the basis. This the most evil part of it. They did this to a friend that I was. She trusted me, and God was in me so much at that time that she referred to me as her father. I could show you messages from me and her from my old account that I wouldn't show you, unless you were a psychologist, and I thought it could help you understand what I'm about to tell you. Because nobody will tell you this. You won't find this anywhere, nowhere. Nobody really explaining it in a way that they can make it simple, man. So they would come to her, bro. So she a child, maybe 8 years old. Most of them started like at 8 years old, because that's when you have enough awareness to react to what they doing, and not if you too young, you compartmentalize it and they can never bring it back because you don't even know what happened. But around 8 years old, they'll start doing this to them. And with her, the satanic ritual abuse, it's different aspects. They do different things. Some children they will use to have birth just to sacrifice the baby. God forbid they make you sacrifice their own child. I don't even like this thing, man, but I can't take it all. I can't take it all. But I think it sounds better. So they would come, 8-year-old child, man, kidnapped. They put in the room. They didn't already beat her, drugged her. And then someone comes in dressed like Jesus, man. I don't like speaking with this on. Someone comes in dressed like Jesus. They I'm sorry for what they did to you. I should have started this over. Let me see something. So I could do it like this. So they got the child, man, and they'll come in dressed like Christ, and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry that they raped you. I'm sorry for what they did to you. Like, leave her alone. And they'll protect you and they'll love you. And then they'll leave. Then the people will come back in and beat you again and rape you again. Then that person dressed like Jesus will come in again. So you like, oh, come, help me, help me. You be like, it's okay. Ain't nothing gonna hurt you right while I'm here, while I'm here. And they'll do that to them for a long time. And one day they'll come in and beat them, and that Jesus person will come in and beat and rape them more than anybody ever did. And that's how they create the compartment. They'll create a cognitive dissonance extreme enough to take them from God and the satanic ritual abuse. It's the most evil thing that happens, and it happens. People told us, that's why I wore the glasses. Because if I cried, I can control it, but I don't want nobody seeing me crying. Man, people used to tell us this, bro. I don't like the glasses. I can't be genuine. I am too funny. So, yeah, man. Can't even make light of that. So they'll create the cognitive dissonance that breaks them, and then they'll program them for what they want to do. So when the Jesus character comes in and they know that they didn't put you in that shock, then they'll come in devils, and they'll after that. She didn't say what they did after that. The one they did that to, they did that to her to make her do brutal. That's the one that had a bunch of children, and they would make her sacrifice her own children. I think she had like 8 children, and she started when she was 12. I said 12 children. I forget but yeah. So, but if God could save you from that. But that's how they. But I'll stay on this story before I go into something else. You could save yourself from that if you older, and if you got enough faith in Christ, or you find someone that does, find someone that can help lead you back to that moment. So to save them, we would first, that moment to come out. They would come out. She would come out with mad demonic. I didn't say her name. And when that spirit came out of her, it was demonic. She had a bunch of altars, and that spirit was like the main protector, because when you got altars, you have a system. And look, it's hard to hear that from somebody looking like me, right? I'm saying stuff that scholars wouldn't tell you. I'm like that with the Bible too. God, glory to God. But you have a system. You might have one that's real docile, different things, different ways you develop to protect yourself and endure that thing. So you might have one that you went to when they were gone, that you went to when you were going to sleep, that you went to when they raped you, that you went to when they beat you, that you went to when you just woke up. That was probably your protector. Like, they gotta stop. One that developed after the pain started, which was maybe your main altar. So you're really a Lord. You really gotta take them back to that child, to where it first happened. You gotta find to when it first happened. You might speak. You're gonna encounter other altars, but you gotta find that one, that real, and you, the only one you can really communicate to, and that's when it first happened. That real innocent young one. That's why some of them used to call me their father, and they be like 60 years old. Praise God, bless their soul. So and you gotta help minister to that part of them. Why why God, like how, like why that, my way to minister was, you know, God kept you alive. Like you aren't broken, you are beautifully broken. Like, see, I'll cry. Like like God kept you alive long enough for him to reach you and to introduce you. But you gotta slowly introduce him to their son, or that other one to come out. You gotta keep it. You gotta be real, and I can't say you can't make them trust you. Just gotta be real, and they'll trust you. And then you'll say, if you just come, you want to meet Jesus. After a while, you just come. And if they say, I want to come to the light, and if they come to the light, that thing will disappear. Then you go to another altar. And if you could bring each altar to the light, you could heal somebody's system. I've dealt with the last one before. Yeah, not by myself, with older women that was very experienced in this. I just had a way to see it in the way they was like, and it was the way I spoke to the children. It was not to the children, but to that altar and the people. They were older, and it was the way they couldn't do it without me, and they couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without some of the other ones. We couldn't heal certain people without certain people, because once you reach that part of them, they won't trust nobody else. And it's ain't nobody done what you did. Ain't nobody gonna do what you've done. Glory to God. Like they trusted you enough to tell you that. Like they've told me some stuff. To where the only stuff I could say is stuff that I've maybe heard, but stuff that was expunged from the internet, or stuff that I know, mainly stuff that they said openly in the group. That part. to myself. So that's how they created the most evil cognitive. Now some cognitive dissonance, sometimes they'll create the cognitive dissonance. And after this, I'm gonna tell you why they do this, why the devil does this, how it's always been done. Um, Sometimes they'll come in and they'll rape you, man, and they'll have someone come in dressed. They'll have people come in just like characters, like Disney characters, or like butterflies, or like bunnies, like whatever a person has stamped on them. Or sometimes you'll see them in the altar, and they'll like on Britney Spears was like, ooh, bunnies, ooh, check. Like that's what they use to break. That's what they use to create the cognitive dissonance in her and to trap her in that child compartment that they program. And then after that, they create more. They create, and then the system develops them themselves. But if they go through the SRA, it's usually it was always like a demonic altar, bro. That man, they were. I ain't gonna say that, but it was like parallel to possession. It was just a. I don't know if Christ blocked them. God told me that Christ blocked them from fully possessing them, but they emulated, and they kind of mentally and they chemically make us kind of creating possession upon ourselves, or open doors that allow them to enter. But to a child that's innocent, there's two ways to react. You know, some people say hurt people, but not all hurt. Some hurt people help people. We dealt with the ones that want. If we saw that it was a system that wanted to hurt, they wouldn't even be there. So most of them were young women. We had a few young men. Some I was very close to that'll go, and it was always Christ, man. The young men they would do the same way, man. They'll beat you up. And they'll have somebody come in. Let me see. Sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes it was always Christ. They always did it to take them away to make them never make a connection with Christ every single time across different networks. They always did it like that. That's what the devil. It was always God. It was all. I mean, they had their little fetishes, and I've heard testimonies to where they came like I'm Moses, and they'll read the Bible to you, and then they'll come in, and so they'll either come in dressed like Christ. But with the young men, because the young men carry the word, the devil know like he's gonna be. But with most of the young men that I peep that'll tell their testimonies, they will come in to them like dressed like Moses, or they'll come in and they'll do these little evil things that they were enjoying, like maybe reenacting John the Baptist coming out the wilderness dressed in the. Dressed like. I could tell this because he told it open. He told me stuff I would never tell nobody. Some of this is what he told me, but deeper, what they actually did to them. I'll just say he beat them up. But they'll come in dressed like John the Baptist, and they'll watch him reenacting John the Baptist coming out the wilderness, and he'll be reading the Bible, or they'll reenact Paul. They'll be like, "You Elijah." After beating his ass, like, come here, come with this Bible. The Bible says Elijah didn't know what God says, and they'll say then Paul ran to Elijah. This is what he said. He said, because he was very mature in the word at this point. He was giving his testimony. He was like, they told me Paul ran to Elijah. He said, so the guy they would whip his ass like he was like. Then they'll have somebody run to him, and they'll be like, this how they made niggas. And then they'll turn these niggas into like rappers and movie stars. But he was like, they tried to turn him into he was white. They turned him into a heavy metal star in their country. So they broke his cognitive dissonance to make the nigga hunger for money. Cause in the Bible there was a prince. He was a prince. This is what they know the Bible better than us. And they'll reenact it and they'll mock it while they doing this to them. And so, I believe it was Peter, wasn't it? Or was it Paul? And they saw the Ethiopian prince. And they ran to him and they said, what are you reading? And he said, I'm reading the book of Isaiah. And they explained it to him. So they would be like, you're supposed to be a prince. Like they just beat you up. Like, come here, this will save you. Like, you're supposed to be a prince. And they'll create an apartment that's making them think like, God is going to make me a prince. I'm supposed to be a prince. They just beat me up for nothing. But this Bible telling me I should be a prince. And they doing this to them as children before they never even heard of a Bible. So then they'll come back. And they'll whip your ass. They'll rape them. They'll beat them. They'll drink, make them do stuff they'll put them through horror, and then they'll come back with that Bible, like God, and they'll be misquoting the Bible to him every time, like God wants you to be rich, you're supposed to be rich, and they'll act like God, and they'll be like, but read this, God, and then they'll leave, and they'll be like, you okay? They'll clean you, they'll wash you, like you okay? So you'll be in two different worlds of somebody beating you and raping you, and then somebody coming with a Bible to help you. But one day, that person that beat you and raped you, that person come with that Bible, and they're gonna do you way worse than anybody ever did you, and it's gonna break you, and it's gonna make you terrified of that person with that Bible. But that person with that Bible will be able to program you from everything they said to you while they was healing you and washing you. And they'll be able to snap you back, and they'll be able to make you like God wants you to be rich, like or they'll use other tactics like military tactics, and they'll beat your ass, and they'll come in as sergeants, and they'll help you, and they'll heal you, and they'll heal you, and they'll be like, and then they'll have the enemy come in and torture you. They'll make you think you're in a war getting tortured, and they could do this to you as an adult, make you think you're in a war getting tortured, and they'll come in, but you've already been through but it's an old compartment that they did as a child. That's why they did it as a child, and they'll do it again as an adult. But as a child, they'll do that to them. As a child, coming in like military, they'll come in like then they'll come in like whatever they can do. Man, they can come in like the Easter Bunny first when you were a child, and they can have that bunny rabbit beat your ass. But they won't do it like that. They'll come in maybe like God or something to the men. Sometimes they'll come in like God first. They'll come in dressed like Jesus first, and be beating your ass, raping you before you even know who Jesus is. So any introduction to Jesus would just send you into a trigger. So you will never receive him unless Christ really show you. And they'll come in like, then they'll come in like military, and they'll save them, and they'll be like, oh man, like God fucked you, excuse my language, like he did that to you. And they'll clean them up, and they'll be like, look man, if he does that again, I'm gonna give you a code number, and I want you to fight back. The code number is 62770 Alpha. 62770 Alpha. And they'll say that to you over and over while then they'll come in and beat you, and they'll be like 62770 Alpha, and they'll stop it, and they'll come in and save you. Then they'll have them come in and beat you. They'll be like 62770 Alpha. They'll come in and save you. Then they'll have them beat you, and they'll say 62770 Alpha, and they'll come in and damn near kill you, like kill you. So every time you hear 62770 Alpha, you're going to fight for your damn life, or you're going to do whatever they told you to do while they was washing you and healing you and telling you they loved you and they sorry for doing it to you. That's what they do. That's N.O.vate. That's what the devil does. He creates someone that loves you and someone that's telling you something contrary, but first they create love is hate. They'll introduce God and have him introduce pain. So to them, pain is love, and love becomes the pain. They'll invert love and pain. They'll have someone like maybe like a bunny rabbit or Easter bunny come first. Like, oh, that's so nice. That motherfucker be fucking you up. So now love is pain, but then they'll bring the people that's introducing themselves as love that want to program you, and then they'll give you the most pain, and it'll break you, and it'll switch you around, and you'll think pain is love and love is pain. They evil as hell. They got that. The devil taught them that. The devil did that to Eve. He created a cognitive dissonance. He said, God told you not to eat of the fruit, but he just don't want you to be. He knows that the day that you eat, you will be like, and when she ate, it was something contrary to what God told her, and it broke her. And it allowed a compartment within her, which was a seed. He only did it once. These evil motherfuckers put many seeds in you, but the devil created a sinful nature in us. So they create different natures in people, different compartments. That's what N.O.vate does. Nobody ever told you that. I'm gonna get my thing better, and I'm gonna go deeper into that. I just wanted people to know that. Somebody share that if God puts it on your heart. If you into that type of but that's deep, bro. That's how they create it. It goes way deeper than that, man. But that's what they doing. I'll be back. Kind of deep. My main focus was even if one person even if someone sees this randomly by the title like that, like I know that's why they do that to you. Even you can see in smart now you can even see in your circle like, oh, that's what they do in the real dungeons. That's what the real pastor elite That's what the real evil. That's what the kings and the queens do. That's what the real people that can trust. That's what the popes do. God forgive me. I'm just allegedly, man. I'm just saying as my story in my book I'm writing. This none of this is real, right? Nobody believe it anyway until you see it. But when you can see it in entertainment, you can see they create the cognitive dissonance when you come. That's why they do you like that. That's why they lure you in. That's why they groom you like that. That's why grooming is like that. That's how the devil groomed Eve. They'll groom you, come to you nice. They always people are like, why they always come nice? They don't come to nice just to groom you. They come nice to create a place in you to where they control you. To I don't like to keep set to cognitively break you apart. Cognitive dissonance, cognitively create a create a space in you, man. Create your logic to it's a barrier to it, your cognitive function. There's a place they can operate that you're not aware of. But it really creates a dissonance between something you understand and something that's different, that just shocks your system. That's why racism is kind of a cognitive dissonance in a sense, because it's not the truth, and you're creating a barrier that because a parent is a God figure. So if you're a God figure and if you're telling your child that these people are evil, when they actually learn that they're not, you're going to create a cognitive dissonance to where they can never accept it. They can never accept that they're not because somebody that should have loved them and that shows how we were made. That shows that we were made by a God, and that shows we were broke away from it. That shows we were made connected to love so much that it breaks our system that and our system will accept pain as love. That's mostly how they do it. They know if I get them early enough and I introduce pain to them through something that should love them or something that they consider to be something friendly, they'll interpret pain as love. And some people compartmentalize it and they heal, but some people grow up and they only get a lust to hurt you. And those are people they can take and then reprogram later when they adults or when they older young men. Like, yeah, he interpreting this pain as something. Yeah, we could program him to do something dirty, put him back in jail, reprogram him, or either kill him. Yep. But the main thing to get out of any of that is Christ Jesus. That's the only reason I know any of that. God tells me anything I'm aware of. That's why I can never say I know everything. I be saying that that's crap. Nobody know everything because nobody's aware of anything, everything. But if you're aware of something, you can ask God for the answers. And he gave me answers when I was living in his will, living holy in his will, and I didn't forget him. And I still fight every day to stay in his will. Every day. I'll never stop. And because I know that secret place when you submit to him and you feel that peace and you feel that assurance of salvation when you know like he's cleansed my conscience. He's made me know that I'm known, that I have peace with him. And with that, I'm out. Peace. And so, shoot, man. With that, so that's an evil program. But it comes from it's just everything they really do is when it comes to like corrupting society is things that the devil did in the beginning. We see where the world led up to as far as Sodom, Gomorrah, that corrupted society. But we can even see what he did in the very beginning as a way to where you can break people down like that, like to where Eve went to what Eve went through. And I'm not excusing human nature or human behavior or human choices. Pardon me. But that's how we came to her. God doesn't want you to eat of. Did God tell you not to eat of the tree? No, he told us we could eat of the tree, but of that tree, he said we shall not eat of. God didn't tell her the truth. I mean, God don't lie to you. God is what you trust. He created you. No, God just don't want you to eat of that tree because he knows that the day that you do, you're going to be wise. He created a thought opposite of what she believed. Direct opposite, bro. It's a spiritual cognitive. That's a put her in a place to where yeah, to where it broke her connection to God. Now they use that strategy to break people and their connection to themselves. Shoot, man. I program under that evil program, I could program you to kill anybody I want you to. Let's just go back in the day and just say, all right, say I want an old president, John F. Kennedy, or somebody killed. And I know I got a child that's a candidate, a child that's been under that MK Ultra program that I already got compartments in. All I got to do is get that child as a 21-year-old man and create one of them compartments that I made of him when he was a child and take him back to that child state and then just reprogram him again. And I'll just come, I'll do the same tactic of creating that cognitive dissonance, except this time I'll just come dressed as the person that I want him to kill. And I'll just be beating his ass as that person and having people raping him or just standing there as that person while he's staring at me, while he's getting abused and tortured. And then I'll give a number and I'll come in and rescue the kid. And then I'll give that number again and I'll have him come back in. Then I'll come in and rescue the kid. Then I'll give that number. And whenever that kid hear that number, it's going to be like, it's going to think like that man trying to kill me. I got to go kill that man. Like it's no other way because you done already programmed him in between the time. Like, man, you let him do that to you. If he does that again, you know, you got to load this weapon like this. You load it like this. And they show you about 100 times. Like you do it like this, getting your ass beat, getting tortured 50 times. And they'll come in and protect you and be like, see? And if he does it again, you use this weapon and you shoot him right there. And they'll have him standing there. They'll be like, just shoot, just shoot. And they'll give the number 3200 Alpha Dog Wet Nose. And that's not funny, man. That's not funny. That's not funny. But they'll give a code and they'll just have him come back in and you know like they about to beat and rape me again. Or they about to abuse me or they about to torture me again. Or whatever they do to me. They about to do it again. They about to electrocute me again. They about to shock me again. Come in and shock you till you can't take it no more. Then they'll come in like, stop. They'll clean you. Oh my God. They'll take care of you for a few days. Oh my God, I can't believe he did that. Let me show you how to protect yourself. If you see him again, you take this gun, you load it like this, you shoot it like this. He's going to be there. And they'll reprogram you. Tell me I'm lying. How the hell you know that? I don't know. God will tell you anything if you submit to his will, eh? I'm out.